Okay, good morning. I'm in the Honda HRV hybrid, so let's get started. Alright, I'm behind the wheel of the Honda HRV hybrid, but what I'm gonna say here is in general with regards to HRV. It is such a delight to drive this car, seriously. The suspension dampening is excellent. The soundproofing is acceptable for a 110, 120k car. I hear the outside, and at times when I press the throttle down, I can hear the engine revving, but it's a nicer rev. The last car I brought up here was in the Hyundai Elantra. That car was screaming like another car was sodomizing it or something like that, going through this route. This is so delightful. Anyway, I'm behind the wheel of the hybrid, and yes, I sense it coming in, assisting on and off and things like that. We're going to talk about that later, but I on the camera now because the past few kilometers I've been like smiling, going one corner after the other, one big bend after the other. This car has a very, very well judged suspension, steering ratio, steering weight, and all round it makes the car feels very, very easy to drive, very reassuring on the highway. Why reassuring on the highway? They make the steering less sensitive, but it's accurate still. What I mean is, when you are making a turn on the highway, you don't really feel the car being fidgety or whatever, as in small interactions affect the trajectory of your car. So you feel that your car is as if being very, very planted, with this lane. Now going slightly uphill, you can hear the engine, the 1.5 liter direct injection engine screaming, but it's an okay rev compared to some other cars that don't sound good when they rev. There's a Honda Insight hybrid in front of me. That's the car that made Honda's hybrid system popular and all across people buy them. Back then it was sold for 99,000 or something like that. Alright, I always felt the Insight it has a great shape, it has a good design. It was just marred by the Honda back in 2008, 2009 that wanted to cut costs that much, and in fact the car it sold well but poorly received in a lot of other countries, because back then hybrids are expensive, and if you're making an expensive car, you need to make your car feel expensive, and the Insight doesn't feel that way, and unfortunately it died a premature death. I think that is a nice car, alright? And I saw a Civic Hybrid earlier on. So yeah, Honda has been selling a lot of hybrid cars in Malaysia. Of course, partly because it benefited from our policy of supporting or giving tax exemption or reduction to hybrid cars. That is in a way helping car makers with hybrid powertrains. But also, whether you believe or not, the philosophy of saving the world, blah 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 blah, I don't think batteries save the world, but batteries do give me extra kick and make me happy, and if more people are happy, the world will be a better place. Anyway, the reason why I come here. Is there a sport button? Oh, there is a sport button next to the gear lever. Let's press the sport button, which means I do no longer care about the environment. And let's raise my seat for a little bit. Oh, that's a police car. Hello there, policeman. And You can feel the car, it's a lightweight car, so it loses its kinetic very quickly. It's normally when you have an engine whereby a bigger engine, the moment you lift off, right, the whole drivetrain won't slow down that quick. This one does because less inertia. And yep, this is the 1.5. If you believe that 1.5 engine is smaller than 1.8, no, it's not smaller. It's very likely the same drivetrain, the same engine block, the same stuff's going inside there. It's likely the same. So it's just smaller. Then why Honda does this? Why don't they just pair the hybrid drivetrain together with the 1.8 liter engine that was with this? Maybe there are some parts differences. Maybe it was designed from the onset to work with the 1.5, but the reason it was designed from the onset to work with the 1.5, there's only one reason. Okay, a lot of countries in Asia still tax cars by displacement. So the reason that there are so many 1.5 liter cars out there is solely because of taxation purposes. Import taxes or excise taxes, or regardless of whatever, okay? That is the only reason. Alright, let's get that out and continue drive. The car handles. Now, this car will let you feel that it handles really well when you don't give it that much steering input. When Subaru launched the new generation of the XV, right, they brought together with them HRVs for comparison, alright? On the initial slalom, the HRV outhandled the XV. Serious on the slaloms. But as we bring the car into the track, tighter turns and all that, right, it reveals the fundamental simplicity of the HRV's drivetrain. So what I mean by that is that when you require little input, right, the tuning and the chassis balance that the engineers did for the car was really, really good. But ultimately, it is a very simple front-wheel drive chassis and drivetrain, and it couldn't do more complicated tasks. And then the HRV just understeers and understeers after that, right? Whereas the XV was able to transfer its power through its advanced four-wheel drive system and just, you know, make its way out of those tight hairpins on the track. So what Honda did was very, very smart. Why spend so much money, like Subaru, on an expensive four-wheel drive system when you can just tune the car to drive really well on normal day-to-day basis for 99% of the people out there who's gonna buy a car, right? 99% of people who bought the XV wouldn't have the opportunity to exploit the mechanical superiority of that car. So yeah, it's still a nice driving car. Very, very awkward sitting position for me. The sitting position of this car is just outright awkward, right? The steering wheel wants to point to the sky, and I only get a nice sitting position when I pull myself back. So, see, very easy to handle. And despite the car looks like it is a mid SUV or something, right? The car feels lightweight. Very easy to drive. Extremely easy to drive. The brakes are very, very good. Modulation of the brakes is easy. Just that sometimes, okay, this one outhandles this. Okay, the CHR outhandles the HRV. Nevertheless, there are some times whereby the dual clutch and the electric motor, sometimes when you are driving, and this is inconsistent, sometimes it just happens whereby they are like, okay, what's next? Alright? You or you or me. Oh no, it's me. Okay, you. Okay, then go. Sometimes it happens halfway when you're driving, post braking, or when you just floor the throttle. Sometimes it happens. Nevertheless, it's okay. Very, very easy car to drive. Anyone U-turning? No. Just floor it. Lovely. I can't argue with this car, man. It does highway just as good as any premium car. Put aside the soundproofing, you know, it's the road manners of this car on the highway is so good. And then when it comes to this type of twisty drivings, it feels like a hatch. And then when you step out of the car, it has the space of an SUV. This is the type of car that spells the demise of sedans. If all car makers build crossovers this well, right, in terms of packaging, in terms of design, in terms of positioning, right, the sedan is doomed. Because the only advantage of sedan is the low center of gravity. Okay, I have a video that explains why they came into existence in the first place. Alright, the 3-box form factor. And the reason you want low center of gravity is solely because back then car makers compete amongst each other to win races so that they get to sell more. What I'm talking is in the 1920s or 30s, right? That is the reason why they want low center of gravity, just to win races. And that has become a staple and has become something that we all got used to. When SUVs make a return, everybody was saying that, oh, they're too big, blah, 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 blah. But little do everyone know that when cars first came out before roads, alright? And back then, you need to cross over terrains and all that. So back then, the very first cars actually have ground clearance, which is what we would call SUVs, right? And why is that road blocked? Why is that road blocked? Where do I go now? Where can I go now? Oh crap, the road is gone. Ah, help! Help! There's a reason why people close off the roads, because the roads no longer exist. So, okay. You are like, okay lor, you want to muscle, you muscle lor. Small. The standard Malaysia hand sign and live in embarrassment. I want to find a place to do my walk around video, and I entered the roundabout the wrong direction. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, I know how to go back there already. Let's do this, baby. Let's do this. Oh, here is here. It is from here. Alright. Ground clearance. I was on ground clearance so that we can go into places that needs ground clearance. You see how crazy is that? Just now I was... Oh, okay, let's skip the sharp rocks. Be careful of this sharp rocks. Bobby don't like. Am I speaking with a Russian accent? Okay. Be careful. There is a Christmas tree saying hi to me. I hit you, Christmas tree. Then I turn inside and do my walk around video. Wah, 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 wah. See? Ground clearance again. Lovely wet morning. I can come inside here and that's my favorite place now. Alright, let's do the walk around video. Cheers, guys.